I'm Oral Hershiser, and I am on the Blue Review. Hey, this is Sean Green. You're watching the Blue Review.
Bring.
Yeah, definitely a sad bendy for this morning. Welcome to the Blue Review presented by LAX. I'm Marcas Grant. That is Greg Bergman. The Dodgers lose just a confounding, frustrating game, ending with one of the weirdest double plays that you're ever going to see. The final score 3-2 to the Marlins. They lose 2 out of 3 to the Miami Marlins, Greg. Yeah.
That's the most frustrating part about that, and we'll talk a little bit more about it. But on a week when you have Yamamoto, Shohei, Glasnow, this is the second week in a row that you lost that series.
Just amazing. Just amazing. We'll get into that and plenty more. But first, I want to let you know that the Blue Review is powered by LAX. What does it take to build a champion? Well, at LAX, it takes round-the-clock testing. Skylink is being perfected right now to connect you to the airport, the new rental car center, and the metro in under 10 minutes. For more information, visit lawa.org/ESPN. All right. So the Dodgers lose 3-2 on a day where Tyler Glasnow was, for the most part, really good. He was bitten by the walks bug that seems to have infected this whole team lately. He gave up a number of free passes yesterday afternoon. But again, he held the Marlins to just a pair of runs when he was in the ball game. That, Greg, should be good enough to win most days.
Giving up 3 runs, he only gave up 2, but giving up 3 runs total, we talked about this yesterday. You shouldn't lose games when you allow only 3 runs. 2 or 3 runs, that should never happen. The other Glasnow was good, but yeah, he was against a different team. 5 walks and 2 home runs is going to kill him. Yeah. And those are the things that, before he had this last outing when he went 8 innings and was phenomenal. I mean, he was still good yesterday with the 9 strikeouts, but you can't walk guys. And now we keep seeing this. Everybody, Yamamoto's walking guys, Shohei was walking guys, and now Glasnow. It's a little bit crazy how often this is happening to this team, and it's frustrating. Walks are going to kill you. They're Glasnow, Shohei, and Yama are good enough to get around that and keep the runs down. But they're going to come back and bite you in the ass, and you have to be careful with that.
Well, I think you can go back even one start further, where Robleski walked a number of guys and sort of was able to dance around those as well. But yeah, to your point, they were fortunate to get away with as few runs as they did. I mean, look, one of those walks turned into an immediate pickoff, which was good. But then the bad was at the very next pitch. Esteury Ruiz, of all people, hits a home run.
Got his ring on Monday, and then he hits a home run. I don't think that dude hit anything. It's not his game to hit home runs. His game is to be fast.
No, in fact, I was listening yesterday on the radio, and the Rick Monday was saying, I guess that is his 9th career home run in 5 seasons, or something really ridiculous like that. Let me look at, 9 home runs in basically 5 major league seasons. He had a career high of 5 in 2023. So not a guy you're expecting to go deep. Somehow he caught one from Glasnow and sent it over the fence yesterday. But so in other words, it could have been 2 or no. They should still win. And the biggest reason, this team has struggled for the last couple of weeks, I mean, you and I were talking about this yesterday, that really since, mid-April, they're a below 500 team. Because really, they just haven't been able to hit situationally. They're not really getting a ton of guys on, but they seem to be able to get guys into scoring position. Greg, they just can't find ways to drive in runs right now, and that's the hard part.
Yeah, I mean, they're getting guys on base. They're taking the walks. They're getting, you're over and over again, you have guys on second and third, and they're just not getting the production from the guys that you need to get production from. One of those guys is Freddie Freeman. He's not producing, and he hasn't been producing for quite some time. It's been a struggle for him right now. And look, to put it out there right in the open at the very beginning, I think Freddie Freeman will be just fine. He always is. He goes through these little slumps. He will always. He comes through in the clutch when you really, really need him. The beginning of the season, I understand a little bit of it, but right now he's on the struggle bus. He has not done. He has been bad. So he has not hit a home run since April 6th. He has not had an extra base hit since April 17th. And in that time, on April 18th against Colorado, in Colorado, on April 18th, he had a 296 batting average. Since that time, he's down to a 271. His on-base percentage has dropped dramatically. It's down to 340, which is still decent, but dropped 20, 30 points from there. Those are issues that are coming up to be. And now maybe it's, you were mentioning how maybe it's the second spot. This has just been Freddie for quite some time now. He rolls over every pitch, and it's a ground ball to first base every time right now.
Yeah, it's uncharacteristic. And it's sort of like we talked about with Shohei, that Freddie is going right when you're seeing a lot of balls to the opposite field. And we've seen Shohei sort of rediscover that in the last few games where he's driving the ball the other way. We haven't really seen it out of Freddie Freeman. And it's been tough in the sense that early in the year, he was hitting the ball hard and getting nothing to show for it, hitting a lot of atom balls. Then he kind of went through a stretch where he wasn't getting really good contact and somehow was finding holes, like a lot of little bleeders or flares that were just dropping in and finding holes and getting hits. Now it's the soft contact that seems to wind up in the glove of the first baseman. So he's definitely going through it. I think this whole offense is going through it. But I look at situations yesterday where they have opportunities to drive in runs. And sometimes it's just, hey, guys, just get the ball to the outfield and find ways to score runs. And I think that was one of them yesterday. I mean, and you talk about Freddie comes to the plate with runners at second and third or for bases loaded, I should say, and one out, where a fly ball ties the game. And instead it's another roller to first base, ending in one of the weirdest double plays I think I've ever seen.
I don't know what that was, so odd, but and Shohei was doing all he could. He was going back to first base to try and extend the play as long as possible.
Yeah,
he was able to just tag him, step on first base, and boom, done. That's it.
And that was it. Yeah, I get it. Shohei's trying to sort of play dodgeball there with Edwards and see because obviously if Freddie makes it to first base, the run scores, the game's tied, and we keep playing, and who knows what happens then, but just couldn't make it happen. I know there was a question about having Freeland bunt ahead of Shohei. He had runners at first and second, nobody out, and they asked him to drop the sacrifice bunt, which he does. He gets it down successfully. He moves the runners over. We all sort of knew that they were going to walk Shohei. I mean, I guess, again, hindsight, having foresight and everything. Do you bunt Freeland in that situation, or do you let him swing away knowing that Shohei is probably going to walk if there's an open base?
So I think that's the right play. I know you're taking the bat out of Shohei's hands, but I just think it's the right one, because how often do we see what is the number one rule? The number one rule: get the ball to Shohei, and don't hit into a double play. And you're putting yourself with Freeland. I mean, yeah, he's been better as of late, but you're putting yourself in the position that he's going to hit into a double play. Now you'll still have somebody on third, but they probably still walk Shohei in that situation. So he was going to happen no matter what, unless Freeland actually got a hit. I think the best move is always to move everybody over and just get to the top of the lineup, in my opinion. I know it's hindsight, and because of walking him, you were supposed to trust that Freddie Freeman's going to come up and at least get to the ball to the outfield, at least have a productive out.
I think you're right. I think that was the move, but I know that was a conversation. That's a question that gets asked in that situation, because you do take the bat out of Shohei's hands. I mean, once I saw second and third and first base was unoccupied, I'm like, well, I know Shohei walked up to the plate with a bat. I was like, you didn't need to do that.
You're gonna just walk straight from the dugout to first base.
Just go stand on first base because there's zero chance that the Marlins are going to pitch to you in that situation. But I'm again thinking, yes, you have Freddie Freeman back there. This is a guy who can figure out a way to drive in the run, even if he doesn't get you a hit that scores both. That there's a way for him to tie the ball game up, and then you see what happens from there. It just didn't happen yesterday.
Yeah. Would you have done something different? Would you not have bunted
No,
there?
I would have bunted there. I mean, it makes perfect sense, especially because I don't know that I have the confidence that Alex Freeland won't ground into a double play.
I don't.
And, I mean, just right now, it's just you don't have that level of confidence that he's not going to hit a two hopper to short, and then suddenly the rally is essentially dead from there on. So, no, I think it was the right move. But again, in situations where it doesn't work out, you're always gonna have people asking the question like, "Hey, why would you do that?" So,
yeah,
that's kind of where we are.
Of course, I mean, good news though, Marcus. I put it in the group chat. You didn't like it, but I put it in there because it's over the last 3 years in those. So April 2024 won the World Series that year. The Dodgers were 15-11 in April. In 2025, the Dodgers were 15-10 in April. They won the World Series. In April 2026, they're 16-10 in April. I mean, that's pretty much on pace. It's a normal April for this team.
Yeah, it is. And I think it comes back to, again, this team is still very well positioned for what its goals are right now. Yeah, they're 20-11. Again, if the playoffs started today, they're the 2 seed, right? They are the 2 seed in the National League. The Padres seem to be cooling off a little bit because they lost, I think, 2 of 3 to the Cubs over the last few days. So they seem to be coming back to earth just a little bit. It's frustrating to kind of watch how this team has played over the last week to 10 days, but there's nothing fundamentally wrong other than they're just not hitting consistently right now. I mean, that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, and it's. I mean, look, it's frustrating for everybody. It's frustrating for us. It's like when you watch these games, these are moments that they get because you can see that they're doing a lot of the right things. They're getting on base. They're drawing walks. Even Haesung Kim drew a walk. That's not what he does. He swings at everything. It's a constant swing, high, low, outside, inside. It doesn't matter. Haesung Kim is going to swing, and he drew a walk. You got to the space that you needed to, and it's just tough just to watch it over and over again. The ground balls to first base are probably one of the more frustrating things.
Yeah, I mean that's a hard one to swallow right now, and you got to believe they're going to figure it out. I'm looking in the chat now, and I'm seeing comments about what Yasiel Puig would have done with challenges.
You would have challenged everything. It's like we don't have challenges. It doesn't matter. I'm challenging anyway.
He's going to challenge literally the first 2 pitches could have borderline strikes. It's 0-2 in the first inning, and he's so.
Can we talk about more about the challenges? They are so bad at it. And I'm still just surprised how bad this team is, given that they're great at everything. They're so bad at challenging.
So one of the things that I heard on the broadcast yesterday is that, the Dodgers aren't great at it, but it sounds like the league in general is not great at challenging. And one of the things that it suggests is that maybe the umpires are better than we've given them credit for, that the team that is the most successful, I believe it's the Diamondbacks. Like the Diamondbacks or the Cardinals. The Cardinals might be 1-2 in some order. But the most successful team is only successful 65% of the time. Like, that's not great. Teams haven't really figured it out, or they just are bad at it, or they just, they're just operating on vibes or something. I'm not really sure. There it is. So the Diamondbacks are your best team at 65%. The Dodgers, I think, are sort of middle of the pack. I know this is listed alphabetically.
Yes, listed alphabetically.
So. Okay, but there you go. There's your 65 right there.
Right.
It just feels like teams aren't great at this. And so if I'm an umpire, not you, CB Buckner, but if I'm an umpire, I feel a little bit vindicated. Like, you guys were coming for our necks, And it turns out we're actually pretty good at this, or at least better than you. So
Right.
maybe it's not necessarily a Dodger problem. Maybe it's just the hubris of man thinking that they can get everything right.
Right. Well, yeah, I think it's that, but also they're 10th so the Dodgers are 10th according to this,
All
which
right. So they're
is
better than I
actually
thought they were.
better than average. But
Yeah.
it's the situational that I think is the issue more than the amount of ones that they get right and wrong. Because what was it? Andy Pages, and he challenged right in his first at bat, right?
Yeah,
It
in a
was
situation
like
that
a
didn't-
0-0 count
it was
in the
strike
first
one.
inning.
It was strike one too. It was like an 0-1 pitch. Like what are you going to accomplish?
Like, that's not the time to use your challenge. Like we talked about challenges yesterday about in the first inning. It's okay if it's the right time to do it when you have bases loaded. Like they should have challenged yesterday at second base. Probably would have lost it, but the same thing, or the 2 days ago when it was bases loaded in the first inning, you should have challenged because that changes the whole complexity of the game if you do get that challenge right. An 0-1 or 0-0 in the first inning challenge doesn't really change that much for you. It changes the at bat maybe a little bit, but you're ahead instead of behind. But now you've lost the challenge, and then there was who was it later on? It was also a terrible. I think it was Dalton Rushing. Yeah, it was Dalton Rushing on a ball that wasn't close. He's challenging. He's like, why are you challenging that right there? So I don't know. It's the situational that I'm more worried about instead of the how often they're right and wrong. Like challenging right situations. Alex Freeland should have been challenging with the bases loaded or 2 runs on a 3-2 one. No, that makes sense to challenge there.
The ones that you mentioned, the Pages, the Dalton Rushing yesterday, those kind of feel like situations where guys, and like I know Rushing's hitting the ball, but Pages is struggling. It feels like guys who are slumping a little bit and trying to find an advantage somewhere. You're Andy Pages, and things have not been going well for you for the last week or so. You find yourself down in the count, and you're just hoping for something to get you going. So you feel like I'm better off at 1-0 than I am at 0-1. Let's see if we can flip this script. And no, but I mean, I'm with you. There's no real leverage there in that situation. It's the first inning. It's the first pitch of your at bat. Like, it's not going to fundamentally change any, like you getting that call. You're not going to suddenly, it's not putting you on first base all of a sudden. It's not, it's not a 3-2 pitch where you got rung up and now you got to hope that it turns into a walk. Yeah.
It's again, it's a situational. I just don't get it. And again, because they're so good at everything, it makes no sense to me that they would be, I mean, maybe not so bad, but not understand situational baseball and understand when and when not to challenge. I don't know. I'm sure it'll get better as the season goes on. It's just a frustration right now.
And I think that's part of it too, is that for all of these teams, this is a brand new world. I mean, I know some of the younger guys who experience this in the minor leagues maybe have some more experience with it, but generally for major league clubs, this is all a brand new experiment. I'm curious to see how teams, or if teams, change their strategy once you get to the second half of the season. Like once we get to the All-Star break and you've got at that point multiple months of data, not just on your own team, but obviously people are charting this, right? They're tracking this. You can see across the league how things are going. And I even saw some really detailed high-level math analysis that shows that under ABS, the strike zone objectively is shrinking. So I'm curious, when we get to July, do teams have a different strategy about this after everybody's analytics departments gobble up all this information and try to process it in some way, and then ChatGPT spits out a new strategy for everybody to use?
Yeah, it's gonna find something else. But I am also impressed by some of these pitchers that are able to hit, like they're pitching to such a specific location that they're able to just get a little teeny tiny bit on the edge of the strike zone over and over again. Like it's making the umpires a little bit more like focused, which is a good thing. And they are looking a little bit better, not CB Buckner, but they're able to locate on such the tiniest little sliver. And it's pretty incredible, like when you see it that way. I also don't know if that was like what the rule was technically meant for, because a seam hit the corner. It's kind of crazy. Because that's always what I thought it was. It was like, I thought this team specifically, like guys like Max Muncy, know the strike zone so well. They're like, okay, I will know when it's outside or inside. And you cannot plan for a ball that's fully outside the zone that gets a tiny little tick of the end.
Those are the ones that frustrate me the most, because technically, yes, it is a strike, but what are we doing?
Is that what the rule is meant for?
That's very much not the spirit of the rule, when it is just the tiniest little sliver of the baseball that catches the zone and you get the red box that pops up. I'm like, it frustrates me a little bit. Seeing in the chat, I didn't even see this when I made my crack about ChatGPT, but JF saying, IMO, Dodgers working on an AI challenge program to train the catchers. They might be. They might be.
I think Dalton Rushing may be the worst at this. Will Smith is not. I think Will's been pretty good for the most part, but
I think Dalton's too emotional. I think he's a little too emotional.
He is. That's not the type. He's like, no, I want that pitch. Like, no, come on, it was like 3 inches outside.
Speaking of Dalton Rushing, by the way, can we acknowledge yesterday him asking for timeout and very pointedly staring directly at the umpire and emphatically asking for timeout. I said if that didn't work, he was going to hand a note to the umpire that says, "Can I have a timeout? Check one box, yes or no."
That's a great line.
That was going to be the next move for him.
So I do wonder.
Watching the video.
This is so good. Hey, hold on.
Stop.
I do wonder if the way that Dalton is acting is that going to get tiresome. We talk about how everybody else around the league everybody hates Dalton Rushing if you're not a Dodger fan right now. Is it going to get tiresome like within the locker room as well, within the dugout? Is that something that's going to, because that's just not typically how everybody else in that dugout plays. Like think about the Patriots. They are guys, they were always known as, we do our job, we go forward, we win championships, and that's why we're so good. Dalton's kind of straying from that. How do you think it plays in the dugout?
I think there are two things. One, is he playing well? Is he contributing on the field, whether that's offense or defense? If he continues to contribute, then I think people can overlook that. The other part is, does this create blowback on other players, especially Shohei Ohtani? It's one thing if Logan Webb has one slip and hits Dalton Rushing in the ribs or what have you. It's another thing if teams are fed up and decide we're going to throw at Shohei. That's when it becomes an issue. So when you said that, the first name that popped into my head was Draymond Green. And that's maybe an extreme version. I don't think Dalton Rushing is to that level quite yet.
Is he kicking people in the junk?
He's not kicking people in the junk, not yet. Hopefully we avoid that. But the point being, Draymond, when a team is really good and they're winning championships, you can forgive a lot of that stuff. When you're struggling to make the play-in tournament, like that doesn't fly quite so much. So I think that's kind of where we are with Dalton Rushing right now.
Yeah. The antics get old really fast when like Draymond, by the way, is dangerous to the game. As a non-Warriors fan, he is.
I say Warriors fan. He's dangerous to the game. What are you talking about?
So I don't want Rushing to I get the comparison. You're absolutely right, but that would be one. If I was Dalton Rushing, I'd want to avoid that. Draymond Green, Hall of Famer, potentially really, really good.
Also a menace.
Also a menace to the game and is actively trying to hurt people. So I just don't want Rushing to be that's comparison. That's a dangerous comparison.
Yeah. So anyway, Dodgers have the day off, chance to regroup as they travel to St. Louis, beginning of a road trip that will take them to St. Louis and Houston over the next week. So hopefully the offense able to find itself somewhere in the air over those flyover states. Maybe they left it in Colorado. I'm not sure.
How do you feel on these, before we go, how do you feel on these days off? Like, because I know for myself, I breathe a sigh of relief. I'm like, okay, I can just kind of chill. There's no Laker game. There's no Dodger game. I can have a nice evening. I can watch a show that I wasn't able to. I watched Survivor today.
Huh? Yeah, look at
Great. See what happened the night for. It just kind of gives me a little bit of peace and like, okay.
Yeah. That's the positive, but the negative is we got to find something to talk about tomorrow when we come back. That's the downside of the whole thing.
We always do, and we got Anthony Witrado tomorrow to help us out with that too.
Absolutely. So we'll get ready for that tomorrow. Get ready right now for the Sedano and Cap Morning Extravaganza coming up right here on the ESPN LA YouTube channel. Talking about a tough day for LA sports. Dodgers lose, Lakers lose. I'm sure they will get into that and plenty more. But thanks to the chat. Thanks to Carlo for production assistance. Back with you tomorrow, as Greg mentioned, with Anthony Witrado from 6:30 to 6:55 here on the ESPN LA YouTube channel for the Blue Review, powered by LAX. See you then, everybody.
See you.